Hello again, I am Blunty, and this is a quick review of the new Legend of Korra game. It's not what I call a full and exhaustive review. It's a new type of review I'm trying out, and I'm calling them the first 30. The rules are simple. The game gets 30 minutes to impress me. 30 minutes to get its hooks into me. 1/2 of an hour to make its case for keeping me playing it. Now, Legend of Korra from Platinum Games and Activision is available on Xbox One, Xbox 360, Windows, PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. I got it on PS4. And you won't find it on a retail disc, it is download only. It's basically a third-person beat-em-up game. Think of it as Bayonetta Light. It's very much like Bayonetta stripped bare and painted over with the Legend of Korra license. What story there is, and there isn't much, takes place in between the first and second seasons of the superb animated show, and it's nowhere near as rich or as intricate or as subtle as the show's character arcs can be. Basically, it's a terribly cliché plot of mystery bad guy, complete with ham-fisted evil laugh, which even echoes in the wide open spaces. He strips an already established powerful character of their powers, and you have to go through the game earning back all your special abilities, fighting off wave after wave after wave of generic-looking minions. The rolling tutorial-style missions which gradually teach you how the game is played, how combat works, and how to use your powers as you unlock them is pretty intuitive, and the basic fight mechanics are reasonably solid. It strikes a nice enough balance between being button-mashy and rewarding careful use of ordered combos. Combat feels mostly fluid, although one of the biggest flaws and frustrations of the game is the god-awful camera tracking. A flaw, in fact, that is quite endemic to all of Platinum's games. In fact, it was the lousy camera and visually messy and confusing fights that turned me off the first Bayonetta game in the first place. But back to Korra. Outside of the brawler-style combat, you've got some very basic and very clumsy platforming throughout the stages to collect various bonuses and currencies and collectibles, and the occasional minigame-style levels, like the runner sequence on the back of Naga, your polar bear dog, very much like the old Animal Mount levels in the Crash Bandicoot games of yore. Though younger players out there will probably compare this to the countless lazy endless runner style games that are everywhere on mobile. But this isn't an endless runner bit, this is just point A to point B, but you know, whatever. The world itself feels utterly sterile, I'm afraid to say. Very, very empty, very boring, and frankly, quite ugly. It is utterly lacking the charm and life-filled character of the source material. There's no NPCs inhabiting the city, no incidental animations or life of any kind. There's no animals, no waving of the leaves in the trees or anything. It's like everyone in the whole world vanished, except for you and the bad guys, who themselves just appear out of nowhere. Even richly spiritual and much-loved characters like Iroh are reduced to nothing more than a merchant for various power-ups. And that feels like a complete slap in the face if you ask me. I love Iroh, and it's just depressing to see him reduced to selling shit in the spirit plane or whatever. There's invisible barriers everywhere, making the game feel very claustrophobic and small, and all the fights happen in penned-in little areas, again making everything feel small and claustrophobic. They're all fenced off by spontaneously generated energy barriers that remain until you've beaten the immediate threats in the local area. Now, like I said at the beginning, this is a first 30 review, so I've not completed the game, nor even unlocked more than the water bending so far, but from what I've seen, the whole game is very likely to continue this way. Bland, repetitive, and uninspired. Even the animated cutscenes don't look as fluid or as beautiful as the show itself. In fact, they often play at a distractingly low frame rate. What the hell is up with that? The end of it is this. I don't think this is a very good game. It is soulless, it is boring, and it has several annoying technical quirks that stop it from even being mindlessly enjoyable, like so many other classic beat-em-up games can be. As a very strong fan of the Avatar series ever since the beginning, this was a big disappointment to me. And as a long-time fan of arcadey beat-em-up games, it's disappointing there too. My advice? Save your money unless you're really, really curious about it. As a final note, regular viewers will know I tend to avoid bothering with reviews of games that I don't actually like that much. I much prefer to tell you folks about games worth your money, rather than go on about disappointing ones. That's why pretty much every review I publish is positive, because I only pick stuff I like. I want to tell you about good stuff. But, given the love of the series, this brand, if you will, I kinda felt a responsibility to hopefully stop some of my fellow Avatar fans from the slightly depressing letdown that I experienced. I'm not saying don't play it under any circumstances. You're completely free to play it if you like. It is not a terrible game. I'm just saying if you really, really, really love Avatar and Korra, don't get your hopes up for a rich story or anything like that. It's just a long way from living up to what I'd hoped a Legend of Korra adventure would be. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.